Hey everybody, Lockster. First I want to show you what I have so far. This is our classroom right here. I'm doing this on my own, so take your time and remember that everything you do, you just start from scratch with what you have. I already have a high chair. Hope you can see that. Yeah, I can see. I only have my glasses on, I can see. I'm thinking of what I do with my glasses. Anyway, I don't need them. I have the book over here. The board here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this board. I was going to start a book, but I can always start that later. Because remember, I want to, and I'm going to do them live because I want to make sure, let me turn this back up. I want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to see what it's like to start from scratch, to start with just what you have, your ideas with you. Everyone knows that I do have locks under here. So what I want you to do is just take note of the different things that I'm doing. I'm taking my time like I'm always telling my followers. And with this book, it looks like a humongous book. I should have pointed the camera there first. But it's not. It's about 100 pages, but look how big the writing is. So, what I did is, excuse me, is normally in every other video I'm called the hair. No, not yet. Anyway, normally in every other video, I'm called mzjanis, the word reader, and one of the reasons is because I love to read the Word of God, but I also like to read books regarding what I like to do. For example, I'm starting a book, and I was just like walking around putting notes on my board, and that's what you saw a little bit earlier. What I'm doing is this is the Oregon Health Licensing Agency Board of Cosmetology Natural Hair Care Training Module. And these are some navigation tips. Use the toggle button to expand the viewable area. And the reason I'm reading every single thing is because that's what I do. When you tutor, you add your flavor to it. So as you continually, if you want to be a tutor in this business, then this is what you do. You copy the pages and go along. Natural hair care. During the 2013 legislative session, House Bill 3409 passed, creating natural hair care as a field of practice under the Board of Cosmetology. And there is no age group. So if you have a little one that wants to do this, then allow them to. Please, just allow them to do this. And it's not about me. That's why I'm not in the video. It's about this module. This is a Oh, something is missing. It said reconnecting. Okay, so this is a training module. There is no formal education school required to qualify for natural hair care certification. Because what you're basically doing is telling that you understand or saying that you understand what it means to be a natural hair care specialist. What I am considering myself is a natural hair care practitioner. That sounds more professional. Oh, yes, I'm specializing in natural hair care. You know about my products, but it's not even about my products right now. It says there is no formal education school required to qualify for natural hair care certification. A training module has been provided to help familiarize individuals with the necessary information to practice natural hair care. In addition to the Oregon Revised Statutes and Oregon Administrative Rules governing natural hair care practitioners. So that's who I am. And that's who, if you take the test or you choose to be, then you start calling yourself that. That's what I was telling my partner today. We're going in this together, and we are going on October, in the month of October, to take the licensing test. So you can become a licensed natural hair care practitioner. Right now, we are not licensed. What we're doing is we're tutoring or going over the same things that the module teaches. And the reason being is because for those who take the class, we're going to tell you what date we're taking the class, and we hope to meet you in Salem. Okay, these are the prohibitions. You are prohibited to, and then you go. Okay, natural hair care does not include penetrating chemical hair treatment such as hair coloring, hair joining, hair bleaching, hair straightening, or permanent wave styles. So basically, if you want to put chemicals in your hair, then you're not doing natural hairstyles. What you're doing is putting chemicals in hair, and we don't work with chemicals. That's how come I said it's any age group. If you have a 7-year old, 6-year old, some 5-year olds, 8-year old, 9-year old, and you want to take the time to show them how to do hair, go for it. How to do natural hair, go for it. It's like you want to teach your child how to babysit. Then you take them to the babysitting class. Okay? So, and if you want them to make money babysitting, that they're more professional, you get a little certificate or a little card, etc. Okay, here are your procedures. Natural hair care includes the following procedures when performed upon human hair: natural fibers or synthetic fibers. Okay? It says braiding, cornrowing, extending, lacing, and my favorite, locking, sewing, twisting. That's a way to get the hair locked. Weaving, wrapping, hair extensions. That's another way to get the hair locked because they have permanent lock extensions. But we're going to talk about that later. And the reason I did the circling on the page is because for those that know how Miss Janice locked her hair, she locked her hair with a J hook at first as an upkeep, and I wanted my hair so much to be started off as freeform, but I want a semi freeform, meaning I want to keep it parted, not locked and parted, but I want it to lock on its own, but I want to keep the parting pattern sort of, so I won't be relocking. As a matter of fact, I did not lock the roots of my hair. I locked the ends with my fingers, and of course, that's another lesson. Okay, so what it says right here, which is hair defined, natural human hair. That's what we want to work with. We want to work with, there you go, natural human hair. And when I say natural human hair, it says an appendage of the skin, which is a slender thread-like cylinder of impacted protein and keratinized cells that is an outgrowth of the epidermis layer. For example, this is not hair, but this is another outgrowth of the epidermis layer, which is like a fingernail. And then skin. You see that little bit of hair? See, that's natural hair. I don't know if you can see it. I'm laughing because I thought of that just now. So that so you get a point for being here, and I just learned something. It's like fresh off the press. All right, here you go. Hair functions. Here it says primary function: to insulate the body from the heat and cold and to protect the head from injury and physical trauma. That's prime, and function is adornment. And if you're a Bible reader, you will know that hair is a woman, the outward hair is a woman's glory, and it talks about adorning of your outward appearance. Okay, now it shows you a picture. I'm trying to get this, keep this neat. Okay, hair structure. Human hair is divided into two parts: the hair root, the hair shaft. Now you know this is going to be on the test, but look at how easy they're making it. They're not making it hard at all. They want you to really know what you're working with. This really, to me, is like a class on the anatomy of hair 0.1. 0.01. It's like the first level of anatomy. It's like you don't really have to get into it real good. And so you know that because you're working with hair, I believe it's 100 questions. And because it's 100 questions, it's not like they're going to, and so far it looked like it's going to be multiple choice. Now I do want to tell you that there's a charge when you go online to take these courses, and they have online courses. And until I get my license to be a licensed natural hair care practitioner. I'm going to do these for free and I'm going to take as many along with me as possible. Okay, the structure of hair root. The hair root is located below the surface of the epidermis, which is the outer layer of the skin, and composed of five main parts. Now, if you want to, what I suggest that you do is to make up FASBP, follicles, erector pili, sebaceous gland, bulb, papilla. So if you can get it in an order where it sounds like a word like FASBP, nah, ASVBP, see, nah, BASPF, BASPF. So what I'm saying is, you think of an order for these words to make up the structure of a hair root. And when you don't get it, or if you get it into what is it called? What is it called? What is it called? An acronym. Like when I was learning algebra, is parentheses, multiplication, addition, subtraction, no, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And so it's parentheses, please, multiplication, my, division, dear, addition, aunt, subtraction, Sally. So there's an order to remember. And I learned how to do fractions when I was what, 10? I mean, I learned how to do algebra, I believe, when I was 10. So that's what I'm trying to explain. It's an acronym. So you make up something that you can say to help you to memorize that. Okay? We're on page 11 now. The structure follicle. The follicle encompasses the hair root and determines texture and curl formation. And you'll hear people when they talk about, you know, 4C hair, 4A, 4B, like that. And it's talking about the texture of the hair, the curl of the hair curl pattern, etc. You don't have to know all of that yet. What you do need to know is what is being read on these pages, okay? So as you're going through, this video is live, so if someone comes on, they'll know it. But I doubt if anyone will come on yet because I'm just making up this channel, which is called Embassy, Lockster's Embassy. And the reason I call it Lockster's Embassy because I'm doing everything that I can think of regarding locks, even starting my own locks, starting a program regarding locks. I mean, I'm just locking, you know. I want to make sure I've created a hook to do the knots, crocheting locks. There's designs, meaning I'm doing everything I can possibly think of. And I'm taking you to school with me. I'm taking you to class with me. And right now, basically, everything is free. If you write me, of course, you can get a free lock with a J hook. All I'm asking that you pay the shipping and handling, etc. We just want to do this for you so that you can become a Locksters family member. A Locksters family member. And Locksters is brothers and sisters. See, stirs. Brothers and sisters with locks. And I took out the H. I used the first letter from the sisters, which is S, and then the TERS from brothers, which is Locksters, lock sisters, lock brothers. So the structure of the erector pili. And remember, everything is building on each other. So if you go back to when you saw the picture of the hair, when you saw the picture of the hair, it's talked about the structure. It talks about the different names, the pili, the epidermis, the follicles. You saw the picture. Well, all you need is it says the erector pili is an involuntary muscle of the follicle. The muscle is sensitive to fear or cold, which causes it to contract. I didn't know that. But I like the fact that it's a muscle. Okay? So we're 15 minutes in and we're on page 13. So the structure is another sebaceous gland. Now, to me, when I think of sebaceous, I think of a good food. Something that makes your mouth watery. Let's see what it is. The sebaceous gland provides the natural oils or sebum, sebum. I'm going to let you look at it. It might be sebum, but doesn't that even sounds like gum, which adds luster and pliability to the hair and scalp. It's sort of like saliva to me. Well, I said that kind of loud, didn't I? Oopsie. But that's what the sebaceous. Okay, now we're going to talk about the hair bulb. And look at how short. I told you is 100 pages, but they're very short. And if it was on a book, I think it would be like 30 pages in a book with the regular size writing. It says structure, the hair bulb. But I'm glad it did it like this because with this format, I can show you up close and personal. It says the hair bulb is located at the very bottom of the hair root, which fits over and covers. When you see that picture with the hair right up the top there, I mean, right at the top, right at the bottom, and the hair is sticking up like this, it looks like a bulb. We call it the root. Like my hair is falling out from the root. I can and you take this and say, see, can't you see it? Okay. The papilla. And it's talking about all the structures and the definitions of each and every one. It says the papilla is a small root area at the base of the hair that is filled with an ample supply of rich blood and nerves and nourishes the hair and stimulates growth and regeneration. Now, when I'm thinking of this right here, I'm thinking of these pads of the fingers, and then I'm thinking of how I usually like to massage with the pads of the fingers. I told you all how when I usually now, so not to get so much product in my hair, I dilute everything. It still gets in there. The hair is still moist. Even my shampoo, it's called hair strengthening shampoo. I took the shampoo bottle, I put it in water, I shake it, and when it comes out, I saturate my hair with water. When it comes out, or when it's time to spray the shampoo in, it's already sudsy, and then it's still thick. And I just massage the roots like this, but I do it with both hands, of course. But because I have the book in this hand, but I just make sure and I put my thumb here, and I just make sure that it gets a good massage with these parts of the fingers. And a lot of times, I'll take it and do like this, but loose. I just do like that. And then when I have the hair already parted, while it's drying throughout the day, I'll separate each lock just like this and just really nice. So all day I'm massaging the papilla, the papilla. And if I could think of another word is, and there's peel. So in order for me, because I think about, like it says right here, a small root area at the base of the hair that is filled with an ample supply of rich blood and nerves and nourishes the hair and stimulates growth and regeneration. So like I said, what I usually do when I think of the word papilla is I think of, see, the pads of the hand is like a little pill that massages and it nourishes. So I think of my tips when I do the padding of my fingertips. Okay, now look at this. Of course, we're still on structure. It says hair shaft. It says the hair shaft, also known as the stem of the hair, consists of three main layers, which, oops, oh, sorry about that, you guys. Consists of three main layers which project above the epidermis. So it's the cuticle, cortex, medulla. And then here it is. Let me see if you can get a and bring it a little closer. There you go. And I'm liking this picture because some videos on Facebook, when they talk about locks, they talk about how like water does one thing, and it's like the cuticle of your hair does this. So they just be talking about a lot of stuff, and there's no need to really get into that right now because what we're doing is we're just basically doing 0.01 of anatomy of your hair. I don't even think it went any further than that. It's like getting you to know the words. And what you want to start doing is you want to start using them. That's the way I'm learning Spanish. I told y'all I'm doing a lot. I'm gonna bring a lot into Lockster's Embassy. Cause they're gonna be Spanish. I want to do this whole lesson in Spanish one day. Okay, so hair shaft, cuticle. So now we're on the hair shaft. Let me see. Let me go back just a little bit. Oopsie. Oops, one more time. Oops. Tells you where to go. Oop, let me hold it up. Oh, it got the certificate at the bottom. Okay. So let's do the cuticle. See, I told you a lot of this hair reminds me of parts of your fingers. You have cuticles on your finger, you have epidermis on your hand, blah, 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 which is skin. So you want to start using the words that on purpose, even after the class. So you want to start using them now. And like I said, what I've already started doing is I call myself a natural hair care practitioner. But soon I'll be able to write licensed natural hair care practitioner because I'm already starting, I'm already doing, believing, I'm already encouraging, I'm already putting everything that I'm doing in the environment. I've already got my chair. Let me show you again. And it's tall enough. I got my area where I'm teaching my class. Let me see if I can show you. So my class goes from, I didn't turn the light on over there, but I'm going to turn the light on while I'm going. Basically where my class starts from. Because as long as you can see the board, well, really, as long as you can hear me. So let's do this side too. Of course, that door will be closed. And so as long as you can hear me, as long as you can see the board, and of course, I won't be using the board a lot because I like to walk when I teach. But because I'm the only one that's working with the camera today, that's what I'm saying. Use what you have. That's how a lot of churches get started. You start in your basement. You start in your living room. And the church grew from scratch because that's what Pastor Grace did. She started in her living room, and now we have a church that seats 250 people. Hallelujah. Okay. As long as you can see the board. Let's get back to work. Okay, the cuticle is the outermost layer of the shaft, which consists of flattened keratin cells and amino acids, that sounds like food, that protects and seals the inner structure of the hair and creates shiny, smooth, silky feeling. And I like that because When I said, it's almost as soon as I said food, it reminded me that you need to drink water in order to get some positive results regarding your hair. Hair loves water, not only when you drink it on the inside, when you put it on the inside of you, but it loves when you put it on the outside of you also. And some of the product, or one of the water based products that I use is 99%, this is what it's called, 99% aloe vera. And usually I'm trying to get the big humongous container of it, and they sell it for like 4.96, I think, or 6.94, some price like that at Walmart. I was gonna say Walgreen. Okay, so let's do this. It says hair shaft cortex. The cortex is the middle layer of the hair shaft, which is the thickest part of the shaft and is filled with melanin, keratin, protein cells, microfibrils that give hair its color, length, strength, resilience, and moisture content. So, if they're going to be 100, if it's going to be a 100 test question, other way around, 100 question test, because that's going to be a long question, 100 question test, and I told you that this is 100 pages. But look at it. It makes it so simple. They grab something from each section of the test and they ask you a question about it. So if you go through this with your mind, with your heart, with your ambitions, with your and or even if you don't do this, what's a good idea is like I did. Just like if you're interested in hair, just start with this. Just start somewhere. Just start doing hair and then get good at what you do. And then after you get good at it, then you learn a little bit more about it. You keep adding product to what you already love to do. Okay? So let's do the hair shaft medulla. Now, I know you remember that from the structure part of this book, this module. So the medulla is the innermost core of the shaft, which consists of sponge-like baggy cells that are found in thick, coarse hair and can be non-existent in very thin. And because I'm noticing that it's basically uh, repeating itself, because we did the medulla, we did like that. It's repeating itself. I'm wanting to, as I'm thinking about it now, put the different sections together that go together. Let's do hair growth. Okay. It says there are three distinct cycles to normal hair growth, and that's bold, hair growth. It says the anagen, the catagen, telogen. And see, this is what an acronym is, ACT. So this is the acts of hair growth. That means that it's going to do something. It's a verb. And so you can do it like that. And look at the pictures. Let me see if I can get a little closer. It says anagen, catagen, telogen, and then it says return to anagen. And this is the part I was talking about. Now we probably that's the root, I mean. So the next time I go over this, it'll be a little better. Because instead of saying root, that will be basically the telogen. Because the telogen is all the way. Oh, and look up close. We really can't see it, but it says the anagen is the active growth phase of 3 to 6 years. The catagen is the transition phase, which takes 1 to 2 weeks. The telogen is the resting phase, which takes 3 to 6 weeks, and then it return. And then look, wait, sorry. Let's see if you can. Ooh, almost knock you over. See if you can get a little closer. I'm trying. Because if you see down the bottom, yeah, I'm showing you down the bottom. It says cloud hair. Then right here. Then it says secondary germ cells, dermopapula. And that looks like it's about ready to fall out. See? And then it says hair matrix forming new hair. Oops. And see how it's opening at the bottom here? And look right here. So this itself is the strand of hair. And this one is what returns to the antigen. And it's like this process starts again. And it looks continual. So it reminds me of a song like that continues. This is a song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Well, not you continue singing it, not knowing what it was, and that one. It's a song that goes like that, and then it just starts. So this is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. So it sounds like hair. So it makes me kind of think, what can I tell people when their hair is like thinning? And I'm just so thankful that I know something to do. Because if you started with me when I started my journey on YouTube, which was last year, February the 5th, I had no hair at the top of my hair, no edges right here. And so when I redid my hair, it's because it started growing in. And then I have a nope, I'm not gonna take it off. I have I have a little lock here, a little lock here, and let me see, one, two, three, where there was no hair, four. So it's like four locks on the top of my head, and then because there was no hair no, like that, so it's just amazing. And this is what I did. I kept it. I drank a lot of water. I kept massaging. I used the same type of oil for 1 year. Well, I still use it. It's called castor oil. And now this year, I started using coconut oil because I like the way it seems like it strengthens my hair. I'm not sure, but you know, and so I started using that, and I started putting liquid in everything I use now. So to keep it thin, I don't want it too thick that it breaks my hair off like that. Let me see if I read this. Anagen is a natural growing phase when the bulb is moving up through the follicle and new hair is being produced. This phase can last up to 7 years. Woohoo! So when they talk about hair breaking off or losing, shedding hair, that's what it's called. Well, I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm gonna call it. When they talk about shedding hair, I wonder is that the breaking off of the hair like that? I wonder. Okay, here you go. Hair growth catagen. And remember catagen, because that's the second phase of the hair growth. And this is how you can tell you need to keep remembering. See at the top of each section, it tells it, shows the pictures, and then it talks about it. So after the catagen comes the T, and it's like telogen. I'm not sure. I started with you. I'm going to stay going through. So it's anagen, A, catagen, T. I believe it's telogen, but let's read catagen first. The catagen is the transition or resting phase after years of growing, when the hair cells stop reproducing and the hair begins to lose moisture and separates from the papilla. This phase can last up to 2 weeks. I'm glad. It's a short phase. I like the last one. I think the last phase, I'm going to return the page. So if it's intelligent, I'm going to be so happy. And I believe it's spelled Telegan. Let's see. No, it's Telogen. But I was close. Okay, telogen is the shedding or resting phase when the bulb is totally separate from the root and new hair cells divide and multiply, creating a new hair shaft. This phase can last up to 4 months. Man, I thought it was going to be one day. Good thing it's not one day when you think about it. Because you want your hair to grow, right? Not just fall off and stop. Okay, now it's going to start about hair character. Hair characteristics. I said character. There are two general characteristics of hair differences: the type and texture. Type and texture. So TT. We should say TNT. Dynamite. TNT. Okay, hair characteristics type. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Hair types are are basic forms and general characteristics of hair fiber, which are classified into four variations. Did you ever want to know that? Straight, wavy, curly, kinky, or coiled. No, I doubt it. My hair is probably kinky, coiled, curly. I wonder, is this A, B, C, and D? Remember how they 4C, 4A, 4B, like that? I wonder. Because there's four types, and then maybe this is 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D. And it just so happened that it's easy to remember because it says curly. Okay, let's go. The straight hair, which is round. The wavy hair is oval to round. The curly is almost flat. And the kinky or coiled is flat and spiraled. Hair characteristics of texture. Hair texture is the measurement and curl configurations of a hair fiber resulting from three characteristics: the diameter, porosity, elasticity. Diameter, porosity, elasticity. I love the English language. I love it. I love other languages too, but I love the English language because that's the one I know the most and the best. I even like sign language. Okay, so we got hair characteristics diameter. Diameter refers to the size of the individual strands of hair and degree of coarseness or fineness. Okay, now check this out. Now we're doing hair characteristics. So they got the texture. Now I need you to see this because hold on one more sec. Hair characteristics type. And of course we're going back, but I need to show you a pattern. And then it says right at the top, hair characteristics. So what I'm doing that for is because when you get to a part and you be like, now what did she say about hair characteristics? You don't want to just stop and I don't know, keep staying with this. You don't want to just stop and keep staying with it. What you want to do is when I get to a different section of the hair, then you want to write down like hair characteristics. And then you want to write down diameter, texture, like that. You want to write down those, meaning as you're going through this video, you want to take notes. I know I'm 40 minutes in, but you want to take notes. Okay? And usually, the reason I told you the minutes that we're in, What a person does that has already licensed, what they do, excuse me, or what I've seen, I don't know if everybody does this, but what I've seen is in order to get paid, they section it off, they section the classes off to a point to where they teach about hair in that section. So this section that we're in, which is hair characteristics, diameter, they will do hair characteristics. We're going to go over hair characteristics next week. And this, and this is you're going to learn these things, and then we're going to do hairstyling. We're going to do so they do everything in sections, and you get the same certificate. You'll see at the end it says, "Congratulations, you have now completed natural hair care training module. The following requirements are," and then it tells you like where to take the test, how to make the appointment, la 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 la. Okay, and it goes for months. This class can go on for months, but I'm not doing it that way. What I'm doing is I'm making a video, of course, and this is these the ones that I'm making now are considered test videos, and I'm live, and I'm practicing the live part of doing the videos, because when people begin to hear about the tutoring of this module, of course it's going to become more live. I'm going to be, maybe excuse me, tape up, take down, put over here, walking around, talking. I'm going to act like there's people in the course that are back that way where I showed you, so I can talk louder, like that. So I want to invite people in. I want the people to come. I want people to, and that's how you practice. I mean, I have other venues that I work from, or other avenues, and one of them is teaching the Bible. I teach the Bible, but a lot of times you'll notice that I'm at church when I teach the Bible. And I'll be in the pulpit, or I'll be on the ground walking back and forth. And the camera is my audience. And so I'm teaching the people that find me as if they're really there. You see a lot of times how I'll look down, or if I'm doing a video and I'm down already, I'll look up depending on where the camera is, because I want to make sure that everything I do practice first. And that's why I'm practicing doing hair, practicing working with the J hook, practicing crocheting in front of the camera, and just etc. So if there's people that want to learn how to do the different things, that's what they're learning how to do at Lockster's Embassy. They're learning how to add their product to what they do. You don't just want to limit yourself. You don't just want to limit yourself. Oh, well, I only want to do, because that's what I started saying. I only want to distribute lock socks with J hooks. But once that became good, I was like, okay, I want to do something else. Then I said, I want to do this. No, I just want to do the upkeep of the hair. And then after I started doing the upkeep, no, I want to start from scratch, because I want people to like that. So I'm doing everything now. I'm not limiting myself, nor am I limiting Father. Okay, hair characteristics diameter. A diameter refers to the size of the individual strand of hair and degree of coarseness or fineness. Coarse hair is the largest in diameter, and fine hair is the smallest in diameter. And of course, the way they section these off is like, oh, I know that's going to be a question on the test. And if it's multiple choice, or if you want to know if it's multiple choice, just go online and say examples of natural hair care test questions. You can always find that. You know there's going to be somebody in the world that puts something online that's going to give you a hint. Okay, hair characteristics. Hair, I don't know why I keep saying it. Hair characteristics. Porosity. Porosity is the hair's ability to absorb moisture through the cuticle into the cortex. The degree of porosity is directly related to the condition of the cuticle. Low porosity, referred to as hydrophobic. High porosity, referred to as hydrophilic. So how are you going to get hydro and hydrophilic in the mind. Well, high, okay. Just remember one of them. One way to remember something is to remember one. And when I think of hydrophilic, I think of licking, like with your tongue. And I think of it being high is because I like to eat. That's like high, one of my high priorities. High priorities. See, so that's just one of the ways that it helped. Like when I didn't know my left from my right, when I was in the army learning to march, and they say right face, I would think to squeeze my right muscle. If they said left face, I didn't squeeze nothing. I just remembered that it wasn't my right because I didn't squeeze my right muscle. Like that. I just remembered one. Okay, here are characteristics. Remember elasticity. Now, one of the best ways to remember elasticity because it stretches. And I like doing my hair like this because it's bundled and then I just pull it down. And I'm like, wow, that's long. And tuck it back in. Elasticity is the hair's ability to stretch and return to its original size and shape without breaking. Normal, normal elasticity, springy and lustrous, and you just saw that one. You pulled it down. See, that's the normal elasticity of my hair. The dry hair stretches only 1/5 its length. Wet hair stretches up to 50% of its length. And that's one of the reasons I love, enjoy, do every day wet my hair. That's one of the reasons. And now you have to remember this. Once you become a natural hair care practitioner, you're going to realize the different textures and kinds of hairs, and you're going to get some smiley results of what it's like to help me here, know the different hair types because you're going to begin to work with them. For example, if you only work with your hair, then you're going to know the difference between your hair texture and another's hair texture. Okay? So if you only work with your hair, that's what you compare hair with. Not saying that it's better or worse, but you have to have something to compare it with. So when you begin to do people's hair, like I had forgot the part about the hand when I was teaching a young lady about how I do the locks. I totally forgot about starting long hair with your hands. Totally forgot. I don't even remember. I mean, I just like when I got from out of her presence, I was like, now how come I didn't teach her? I mean, that's how I totally forgot. But in the meantime, when I started my locks this way with the knotted lock, I want a knotted lock. I want people to see what it's like to have a lock at the beginning of the hair with the rest of the hair loose. And I started that the second part of my lock journey. After 1 year, I just totally stopped knotting my hair, period. After so many months, I just put it at I think it was the second or third month because I didn't lock my hair a lot. So the second or third month, I just, I said, if I can make it to 3 months, I'm going to lock it at the root. So, yeah, that was the first time I redid it. So at 3 months, then I'm going to lock it at the root and see how I like that. I liked it because you can wash your hair and just really scrub and all that other kind of good stuff, and the lock wouldn't come out. I like that part. The part I did not like is the seeing of my roots all the time. I don't like that. I don't know why. But maybe this is why. But this time, I locked it at the ends. And when I wanted to lock it at the root, I was thinking, I don't have to twist it all the way up. Let's rubber band it. So that's another way to start the knot and lock process with a part. So you're learning new stuff, and that's what I'm saying. When you do only your hair, or you start your hair, but and when as I did like clients' hair, it became a whole different story, because I only did upkeep, I only upkept. I only kept her here because I only had two techniques of doing locks. Until one day, a young man who's Caucasian asked me to do his natural hair, and I didn't even have a way to start it. I was like, I never worked on straight hair before. So I basically said, but now every time I go to QFC, there's a store, quality foods. I remember, I noticed quality foods. I can't remember the C stands for. Anyway, when I go to that store now, I always look for him because of the rubber band method. Okay? So I'm just saying that once you get started, you learn stuff. You I don't know, it's like learning, knowledge, information comes to you, especially if you are talking to father regarding it. If you want him to be the head of your business, establishment, creation, activities, etc., if you want father to be the head of it, and you're going to give it all back to him, meaning you're going to allow him to do it through you, that means that he's going to think for you. He's going to give you ideas, suggestions. I mean, I told you all I'm a tutor. I tutor everybody. Tutor, this is not a new thing. Okay, so hair characteristic regions. There are four bone structures. Remember, this is new because every time something new comes up, they give you a picture. There are four bone structures on the cranium, which results in the variation of hair texture. Okay, so they're going to teach us about the occipital, parietal, frontal, temporal. And remember, I said this is like anatomy and physiology 0.1. No, 0.01. 0.1 is even bigger. So 0.01, because 0.1 is 1%. This is almost minus 1, like that. It's like a little bit. Okay? So, but look at this. When people talk about this part right here, they talk about the frontal lobe. Okay, that's a part of your brain. This right here is basically a skull, and this is the skeleton of your face. But look at this. Sphenoid. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. There you go. That's more in the middle and closer. Nasal. That's an easy. But think about it. Zygomatic. Maxilla. 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 That's where the mustache is. This is basically where the hairline is. This is. Oh, I have a widow's peak that came back. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to sound so loud. The teeth. Huh? Why do they have teeth up there? Mandible. That's your jawbone. Temporal. That's they call that the temporal lobe. Occipital. And there that is right there. Let's find this one. Parietal. Parietal. I know about periodontal. Okay. Parietal. Then frontal. And where's the temporal? So maybe they're only going to teach about these and they just wanted us to know about it, or how these all work together. I don't know. So let's find out together. We only got 70 more pages to go. Okay, so it's hair characteristics regions. Occipital region. Let's see, is that the one that's close to the eyes? I'm just asking. Where is that one at? Nope. That's in the back. I was asking because it tells you where it is. Okay. Occipital is the bone that forms the back of the cranial indenting above the nape. Oh, I like that. We call that Nate the kitchen. Oh, I'm sorry. Hair in the occipital region is tighter in its coil configuration. Hold on, let's read that again. Hair in the occipital region is tighter in its coil configuration, in addition to being drier, more brittle, and easier to break. Just think about that. I remember when I used to perm my hair. Woo, that was the first part that would break off. If I'd known what I know now. Now let me stop. Okay, hair characteristics. Parietal region. Parietal is the two bones that form the sides and top of the cranium. See, your skull, your brain, your area where your brain is. Hair in the parietal region has a great variety of diverse textures. Hair characteristics. Frontal region. Frontal is the bone that forms the forehead. Hair in the parietal region has a great variety of diverse textures. Wait a minute. It said parietal frontal, but it said the same hair in the parietal region. Hmm. Maybe that's still the same region. Want to look right quick? There's the frontal. There's the parietal. So this must be all of the same region. Okay, I hope you saw that. If not, oops. Uh-oh, here's the temporal region. Let's see. Okay. Oops, there. It says hair characteristics. Temporal region. Temporal is the two bones located on either side of the head directly above the ears. Hair in the temporal region displays a soft or fine coil, is less brittle, and the spiral pattern may vary from a very tight to loose or medium to large corkscrew pattern. Sound like a game that I'm playing. Okay. Diseases and disorders. And so it looks like they only did the three that they were talking about on that first page. Disease and disorders. Diseases and disorders may either be infectious, an allergic reaction to chemical, or an autoimmune response. Each disease or disorder has its own specific symptoms or conditions. Now, listen to this. Practitioners, that's you and I, should look for any type of abnormalities of the scalp prior to providing services and advise the client to seek medical attention if necessary. What that really saying is basically you have your gloves on. You before you look at the hair, you look at the hair and you talk to them while you're doing it. One of the nice parts of being a practitioner is you're always teaching. Always teaching. You're always in teaching mode because you want others to take care of the hair that you're taking care of, not the other way around. They want you to take care of their hair. But we, as a practitioner, will want you to take care, to help them to take care of their own hair when they're away from you. And they appreciate that. When you're looking at people's hair and you're saying positive things, like, oh my goodness, you have beautiful hair. You're saying all these positive things. That right there, those words, the positive words that come out of your mouth is what makes a person return to you. I remember this one time I went to get my eyes checked. And if that lady would have said, I need to take your eyeballs out of your face to massage them, I probably would have let her. I would have like, you do? That's how she made me feel while she was examining my eye. She didn't do the what is it, the 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 machine part yet. That part, she didn't do that part yet. What she did was she was like, does does any of this hurt? And you know what I mean? I mean, she like massaged this part right here. She's talking to me, telling me that the color of my, I mean, she was just really making my eyeballs feel like, here, you want to just take it out and just do that, massage the back part. I mean, that's how I was feeling. I felt so comfortable in a chair. Well, when a person comes to you as a practitioner, that's what you want to do too. Okay? So let's get back to work. And what that does is that lets the person know that you really care about them. I remember the first time I did someone's hair and they didn't wash it, and I was so disappointed. I was like, "What am I? I'm asking father. I didn't go to school, to class, and all this kind of stuff. But because of doing one person's hair without it being washed, that right there is nice to know, because now as a practitioner, once I decided to do this my own self, it's like you're always in a teaching mode. So now as you have your gloves on, you're poking around in a person's hair before you do their hair, you would have them to wash it. You have them wash it. Remember, I said I was only doing the upkeep. I wasn't doing the starter offers. Okay, it's a little bit more about diseases and disorders. Let's get back. Diseases and disorders can be accelerated by internal or external trauma, such as physical stress or hormonal or chemical imbalances. Now, this is not what you tell a person. This is for you to know. What you tell a person as a practitioner, as you're going through the hair, you're looking for any type of abnormality, of the scalp prior to providing services, and advise the client to seek medical attention if necessary. That's what you want to do. You don't want to be poking around and comb something and no. I just did like this. Sorry, you didn't see it. No. Okay. But can you imagine standing up in front of a class teaching this? See, it's just cool. It's not hard at all. It's informal and informational to you, and what you would like to do is you would like to teach this class in one setting. So you want to get to a point to whereas, did I say one setting? I'm trying to do it in one setting because I want to see how long it takes to teach this class. Okay, let me get to work. Diseases and disorders can be accelerated by internal or external trauma, such as physical stress or hormonal or chemical imbalances. And the reason you want to know this and basically not talk too much about it is because you want to do what this says, but you want to know why. Why sometimes the hair may be diminished by the weakening, the weakened condition or traumatized state of the scalp resulting from a disease or disorder. And one of the things that I like about doing hair your own self is because you set the atmosphere, you set the tone, you set the area. What's allowed in your shop, or what's allowed where you work, or because you are the licensed practitioner. You're trying to be an entrepreneur. You're not trying, but you're being a successful entrepreneur. That's how you start. You start as a success story. You don't go in as a failure. You go in as a success story. And so you're going to be looking for certain things. And now we're getting to what you're looking for when you're massaging or, pulling a person's hair apart, etc. You're going to look for certain things. And here are some of them. Fungal organisms are characterized by itchy scales, and sometimes by painful circular lesions. See? So you want to make sure that you wear gloves. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I mean, even when you're dyeing your own hair, it tells you to wear gloves. The following forms, and then you're doing it your own self. The following forms of fungus are contagious and can be easily transmitted from one person to another by the infected skin scales of hairs that contain the fungi, which spread the disease. The tinea capitis and the tinea favosa. I said B because in Spanish a V is pronounced like a B. Makes a B sound. So it's tinea favosa. Okay, here are fungus diseases. Tinea fat, tinea capitis, a red papillus or spots at the opening of the hair follicle. Patches spread and the hair becomes brittle and lifeless, breaking off, leaving a stump or shed from the enlarged open follicles. That does not look pretty. I hope there's no pictures going to pop up on the next page. But of course, you know what I'm going to do is I am going to go and look on the internet and see what that actually looks like. But that's the next step. Hold on. I got to get it. Nope. Okay. Disease, diseases, a fungus. Tinea favosa or favus. Dry, sulfur, yellow, cup-like crust on the scalp, which has a peculiar odor, causing bald patches that may be pink or white and shiny. So if you're doing a person's hair and you're doing the first like 1, 2, 3, give it a cute little name. What I usually do is 1, 2, 3 on on all of my clients, and let them know they're a client now. You introduce yourself. You introduce yourself to their head and make it fun. Make doing a person's hair fun. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to go ahead to this table. Because I have to straighten these out because they're about ready to fall. Hey. There. Why didn't I think of that before? Anyway, you want to make doing hair fun. I remember when I used to teach in first aid. Hold on. Maybe I'll put it up here and then hold the pages up. When I used to teach CPR and first aid, we used to call it the dance. When it's time to do the counting and the breaths and the counting, and we used to call it the CPR dance. And we would take a break before the dance. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, when y'all come back, we're going to do the CPR dance. Okay, we're already having fun in the class. And the class becomes you. You get all kinds of compliments and good checks and just all this good stuff. And you want that because you want to be able to tell people, you want the people to be able to tell those who are looking at your chart how well you're doing in class. And I would always tell them that all of the wrong stuff will come to you first. And I don't know why I used to tell them that, but I did. All of the wrong stuff you learned will come to you first, but I promise, if you're successful in this class, the right stuff will come. The count will come. Everything will come. Until one day, I was at I was at the house, and my daughter was choking on a peppermint that I just gave her. And the CPR teacher, was patting her in the back and shaking her. She was like 3, and shaking her, telling her to breathe, looking her in her eyes, and she's like, and all of a sudden, I remember the Heimlich maneuver, and the candy just went, and it out of her mouth. And I don't think I ever gave her peppermint. She probably eats them, but I never gave her another one. So what I'm saying is, make your class memorable. Make it fun. Okay, here's the diseases called parasites. Parasites are living organisms that feed, grow, and thrive on or in a host organism. So that sounds like the stuff that eats pus. I'm just saying. I mean, and it seems like it might have been there for a while. Because you're going to hear some horror stories. You know what I think I'm going to do? Hold on. And I'm going to see if you can hear me, okay? Well, I'm going to see if you can hear me. Diseases, parasites. The following parasites are contagious and can be easily transmitted from one person to another. From contact with the infected hair and scalp by hats, combs, brushes, and other personal articles. Pediculosis, capitis, head lice. Now listen, I need you to understand this. If you see and when you see something crawling in a person's head, that's why I'm telling you to wear your gloves and to wear a covering so that you can do basically like this and talk to the persons. I'm stepping back because I don't know if you know this, but, and then you begin to talk to them. I see little bugs crawling in your head. And they'll be honest. I promise they will. You know, you might have to throw away the thing, what do you call this thing? And what I suggest at first is to get some plastic plastic aprons that you cook in. They have them. Or get like $20 worth of dollar store, what is those things called? What is this called? Not pouches, Father. You wear them in the rain. Oh, sorry. Wait, hold up. You wear them in the rain. Help. But I know you know what I'm talking about. Ponchos. Pouches. Anyway, you wear them in the rain. And like I said, you get like $20 worth. You know. And you use those at first. Because those you can use again if there's no terrible stuff coming out of the hair. So what you do is when you say, I'm going to do my initial hair, I do this to everybody. And do it to everybody. When you first start off, literally do it to everybody. Because of this part. It's called parasites. And it tells you each kind that there is possible in natural hair when you do natural hair. Because we're just starting off and we're practitioners, and a practitioner is someone that does this all the time. And you don't just go in and say, well, you know, you're the first person, you know, I mean, literally, I'm telling you, go over these pages again, download your own, look through it on your own. With me, I'm showing you for page 41. They're showing you what lice looks like. And there's a scabies, which is an itch mite. If they say something like, can you help me get it out? Can you help me to get it out? I'm going to show you what I have. Hold on. Hey, I can take you with me. If I can figure out how to do it. Oh. Let's turn this around. Okay, mine is over here. Hold on. This is a food grade. It's called diatomaceous earth, and you can look it up. It's very inexpensive, but you get a whole lot of it. And the reason I'm telling you about it is because It's you can go online to discover the many uses of food grade diatomaceous earth. The ingredients is diatomaceous earth, which is 100%. The mixing rate to be mixed in animal feed in an amount not to exceed 2% by weight of the total ration, excuse me. A natural product composed of ground freshwater diatomaceous earth. Okay? And they have one that kills bugs and all that kind of stuff in your plants and but this one right here is the one that you can eat. It's food grade. That means that human beings can eat it. Let me show you. And I started reading about this when a young lady that lived in the house, I don't know if she bought bed bugs or I don't know how that part work. I don't know how the bed bug part work. But my brother had gave me some and I put it like on the floor, like around the edges, oh my hand. Around the let me see. The edges of the like the walls and stuff like that. And once they walk over it, once the insect or the bed bug will walk over it, all that will be left is the shell. The body part will just disappear. Now, I'm not telling you to put this in the person's hair, but I'm telling you to introduce this to people. And so that they can put it in their own hair and wash their hair. Because it says, first aid precautions, use and approved respirator and goggles. Work areas should be equipped with adequate dust collection, etc. See, you're not going to use that much because you're going to use it in your hair. And do this famous spray bottle. Because I brush my teeth with it. I drink it in a tablespoon with water. It cleans you out. This stuff works wonders. The food grade. So anyway, I'm just saying, let me turn this back around, just in case I want to write on the board, you can see it. I like this class. For some reason, this seems like it's going to tip over. So let me make it steadier. Or should I say sturdier? And we are looking at the table, just in case I have to walk over there. So let's get back to this. But anyway, so what I do when I read stuff is I basically look up lice, the real words. See, they call it pediculosis capitis, which is head lice, and scabies. I call it scabies. Scabies, which is itch mites. And they must look the same because they only got one picture. Okay, so the next one is diseases and parasites. And the pediculosis capitis, that's the head lice, which feed on the scalp causing itching and when scratched can cause infection. So usually, if you'll notice, a lot of women, I've only noticed women doing it, I'm sorry. But when their head itches, they'll pet it. Like, oh, this is really itchy. No, it's not. But you'll notice that they pet their hair. Well, because you know about these diseases, these parasites. When you do natural hair, suggest that. Please, I beg you, suggest that. And the way that I suggest it is this way. As you're doing the hair, your scalp is so clean. When it itches, what do you do? Do you pat? Do you scratch? Which one do you do? See, that was a question. So if you know that something negative can happen later, but it's not happening now, that's when you're thinking about patting the hair, not scratching. Scabies, itch mites, which burrow under the skin, causing inflammation, blisters, and pustules, and when scratched can cause infection. So that's what I like. I like the way this teaches. And one of the reasons I like the way it teaches is because, like, I'm always going to say from, like, basically from now on, is because the pages are sectioned off so that I can teach like this. And I like teaching like this. It's diseases or pathogens, bacteria. Pathogenic bacteria is a one cell organism that causes disease and infection when entering the body. Pathogenic bacteria. Disease Diseases of pathogenic bacteria. Staphylococcus is a contagious pathogenic bacteria that infects the hair follicle and can be transmitted by skin to skin contact and unsterilized tools and implements. The two most common types of staphylococcus, staphylococci are fur, furuncle. Hey, spell like uncle. Furuncle or carbuncle. Sorry, but that's funny to me. Furuncle, carbuncle. Furuncle, carbuncle. Now hold on for just a second. Now we already know this, that there are diseases, there are pathogenic, one of a pathogenic bacteria is a disease, right? We already know that. So it's not like you're looking in a person's hair to find it and go, ew, but do it the other way around. Say ew now. I didn't hear you. Right. So say ew now so that when you find it, you can know what it looks like. And the reason I'm saying say ew now is because you want to look online up these words. Okay? So that if you see it, it's like when we're learning how to notice bad money, bad, like $50 bills or $100 bills. Usually, in order to learn a bad dollar, is to only look at the good ones, so that when you see something bad, it's like, this is different. I've never seen this before. Like when they first started changing our money, I was working at a retail store, and it was like we gotten so used to seeing a $50 bill a certain way, but then when the big face on the $50 bill started coming out, it was like, is this real? So then, then they started giving us a pen, a money marker. Well, you'll know that you won't be like the doctor. I'm telling you that you have blah 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 blah, but you'll be able to say, I'm noticing that you might want to, get your hair. How does this feel? You know, how does that feel? Does that hurt a little? How does that feel? And they'd be like, ow. What is it? What is it? Because sometimes, in the back of the head and stuff like that, you really can't see. Or you can see, but you're not going to be like in the mirror. Wait, hold on. You know? Well, you're not. And if you are, when it comes to our hair, it could be anything. Maybe you were allergic to the dye that you used and you didn't do anything about it. Or maybe you're like that. There could be a lot of maybes. So you'd want to alleviate the maybes and then go for it as a practitioner. You want to figure out nice ways to tell people something is wrong. I cannot go any further. Something is wrong. I cannot go any further. Okay, now look at this one. This is in the diseases category. It's pathogenic bacteria. Fur uncle is a pimple or boil perforated by a hair that produces constant pain. Then that word right there, constant. Hold on. That means before they came to you, you can ask them, how long has that been hurting you? Not how long do you knew this was in your head? Like no, How long has this been hurting? Right? Because it says constant. How long has this been hurting? Oh, carbuncle. Inflammation of the subcutaneous tissue similar to a furuncle but larger. I'm going to enjoy these when I learn this work. Furuncle, carbuncle. Okay, now look at this one. These are disorders. That was diseases. Now these are disorders. They're going to start talking about disorders. Dermatitis. I know itis is inflammation of something. So inflammation of the skin, if that's it. There are two scalp disorders that manifest similar inflammatory and topical conditions. It's almost like I had something wrong with on my arm, and they thought it was like mumps or measles or whatever. I don't know. Whichever one is that made them do like this and give my arm back to me. You know how you doing like this, and they're the person that gave my arm back to me. It's like, you're really sick. No, I don't think they said that. It was just that they gave my arm back to me. Okay, so there are two scalp disorders that manifest similar and inflammatory and topical conditions. And I had a topical condition, but it wasn't none of these. It's seborrheic dermatitis, seborrheic dermatitis, which is the top one, and psoriasis dermatitis. Okay, so now we're going to get into the nitty gritty regarding these two. Okay, the disorder, which is dermatitis, we're going to do that one first. Seborrheic dermatitis is a skin disorder or form of eczema caused by an inflammatory, that word don't even look like inflammatory, inflammation of the sebaceous gland. Remember that skull, the sebaceous glands, or an inflammatory reaction to some commonly used hair products. Uh-oh. And you notice that sometimes when doctors, look at you, we're practitioners, we're not a doctor. But sometimes when doctors look at you, they'll ask questions like, what are you eating? Because they want to know if you're allergic to something. You go in there with a heartburn. They say, well, what type of foods are you eating? And you be like, oh, I be eating like greens, like a lot of vegetables. And they'll just keep listening like, Or I really love beans. So I've been eating like a veggie-based diet or a plant-based diet. You be like really trying to get in all, And then they'll be like, plant-based diet, okay. Well, so do you put like gravy or... Now, I know if I was black, I would ask this question. I don't know. Not if I was black, I am black. But I know that if I was asking this question, I would ask about gravy and stuff like that. Like, what do you put in it? What type of seasonings do you use? Like that. And all of a sudden, it was like, well, I've been putting like salsa. I love salsa. And like hot salsa. Oh, and I'd be like really like getting all into, almost like that when I was describing how I eat my veggies. And all of a sudden, as I'm talking, it's like, and I must, because you really got to describe how you eat, or you really got to describe how you cook, or you really, in order for someone to catch it. But what I'm saying the reason I'm saying that is because It's a skin disorder or form of eczema. Let me get closer because I turned the camera. So. Or form of eczema caused by an inflammation of the sebaceous glands or an inflammatory reaction to some commonly used hair products. And that's the part where you get to what are you putting in your hair? What have you been using? What so instead of going through all of that, these are the types of conversations you'll have. And you will want to get used to talking like this. So instead of saying you have a disorder or you could get a disorder or whatever, you talk to them about the products that you use, the ones that you use. So you're recommending at the same time, so that you'll be the one that I like. One of my partner, I want somebody who what's it called? She didn't create it, invent it, but she mixes like shea butter with something and husband's and her son's hair with it, and daughter and other son, but she would do her family's hair with it, and then she would do people's hair, and then the people whose hair she would do, excuse me for knocking the camera, like what she made, and she would sell it. And so she wants to be a part of what I'm doing. And I'm like, no, I want a partner. I want somebody who's like willing to go to bat for me. You know, I have product already, and I want someone to come in with a product or with some product, so I can be selling what you, or not selling. I can be offering what you offer, and so I can talk about it. Hey, you know, Miss Ari, she has this one particular product that she uses, and here are a couple of pictures. While you're looking at this, we can see, because I plan on advertising product, but I plan on advertising products that work for me, like my hats, my castor oil, mixing it with water. See, I can tell about what I've done, how to start locks, how to, keep them up, how to wash them, how I wash my hair, how so when you start talking about hair product that people used before, you want to, like, less is better, because as your hair grows and you get product build up, you know, in here it says that we can wash people's hair. But do you want to wash their hair? Do you want to have them come back to get their hair washed? Or do you want to give them a sample to take with them? Because this is how my hair was, and you show them pictures like that. You want to updo you. You want to updo you. You want to gradually talk about how you got started, in essence. Okay? It says the scalp is red, inflamed, and itchy with white, creamy, yeast like film. See, that doesn't sound good. Or patches that coat the scalp, causing light flaking or dead skin cells resembling wet dandruff. See, you don't want to be afraid to see that, and then begin to ask them, what do they put in your hair? What products do you use? So instead, before you even get to this part of the scalp, this is the scalp, and you're getting ready to. You don't want to get to that point and say, well, what do you use? You want to ask them, what type of things do you use in your hair? Oh, okay, okay. How do you like that? And then normally, not what a normal person would ask, but what people usually ask is, how come you ask? And then you tell them. See, you want to get to a point. And another thing I like is that my pastor already gave me a place where I can start outside the home. I mean, it's like a guaranteed start outside the home. You start at home, which is where we started at, but you want to be able to, where you live, go to. We live in Oregon, so it'll be not easy. I mean, not hard at all. But you want to work on every type of hair now, so that when you go to, I think it's still called CSD, Children's Services Division, with your card, your licensed dermatologist, or excuse me, licensed hair, dermatologist, dermatitis, but your licensed hair care practitioner, natural hair care, because you don't want to worry about chemicals, you don't want to worry about anything but the natural hair. And then you can also, like I said, teach those whose hair you do to do what you do. I remember every time I learned something from a teacher, I was like, boy, I want to do that. I want to teach because I like teaching. I love teaching. I love tutoring. Okay, let's get back to work. Disorders, dermatitis, psoriasis, dermatitis, an inflammatory condition that results from an autoimmune disease of the skin. The scalp is red and irritated and covered with patches of silver white scales. Disorders, pityriasis. Pityriasis. Remember, I said isis means inflammation. Isis equals inflammation. When it comes to any type, it's like an inflammation of the, okay, pityriasis, also known as dandruff, is a microscopic fungus that feeds on the scalp's natural oils and creates byproducts. Hey, I found a mistake, I think. No, that should be together. Byproducts that cause irritation on the scalp. There are two types of pityriasis: pityriasis capitis simplex, pityriasis steroids. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Pityriasis steroids? I'll let you think on that. Pityriasis capitis simplex, pityriasis steroids. Oh, I wonder what time is it? Hold on. I have a meeting at 6:30. Oh, we got enough time. We've been here for an hour so far and 38 minutes. Okay, pityriasis. This is the disorder. The first pityriasis capitis simplex is a classic dandruff, okay? The scalp is itchy, dry, and flaky, resulting in scattered skin cells, which are visible flakes on the hair and shoulders. You have pityriasis capitis simplex. And it's like simply the normal type of dandruff. Nothing to shout about, nothing to be said about. But because you know this, be thinking now of a product that's simple. Like mine, you know, when people see my hair, when they feel my locks, they're so soft and, you know, because they're just like newish. They're like babies. So they're soft and my scalp, when I first started last year, my scalp would itch something terrible. And there was a black film, like, I'm not letting your hair grow. Oh, wrong. I'm looking at the time instead of, I'm not letting your hair grow. No. You know, it was like that. But once I found out that my hair likes water, it likes the castor oil because it's not a paste, it's more like a liquid. And then I found out that the coconut butter is even thinner than castor oil, so I started using that a little more. But I like the way the castor oil is because it doesn't really like drip down my neck. I don't have to do a basic, you know, with a towel after I'm done. Anyway. But see, I already know that there's something that I can recommend that's natural. That's a natural oil. But I didn't have dandruff and stuff like that. I just, like, at certain times of the night, it's like once my hair got dry again. But I'm telling you, when I started using the water and the castor oil, I didn't have to worry about my hair itching. It's like, I don't know when the last time my hair decided to itch. I don't, you know, not really. Okay, so let's go. It says the scalp is red and inflamed with large, greasy, or waxy scales, which are combined with sebum, causing white, creamy patches to stick to the scalp. When the scales are removed with a comb, bleeding or oozing of sebum may result. Now, sebum, if I'm not forgetting, is pus. But before you get to this part, before you get to this is the scalp. Before you get here, you want to already start having these questions. Okay, here's one I'm most sure you heard of. I think you've heard of this one. It's called alopecia. I've heard of alopecia. And alopecia is an autoimmune disorder that mistakenly attacks the hair follicles during the onogen or telogen growth phase. Remember, I told you this is a lesson that builds on itself, which causes abnormal hair loss, balding, or reduced hair density. That's a nice way to say thinning hair. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that that's just a nice way to say thinning hair. There are several types of alopecia, depending on the location on the head, how it evolves on the scalp, and its underlying causes. I wonder if there's such thing as called worry alopecia. Or hey, sorry about that. Disorders. Now these are disorders. There's disorders. There's diseases. There. I forgot what the other word was. Okay, alopecia totalis. Small round patches of hair loss progressing into total scalp hair loss. Alopecia universalis. Complete loss of body hair. Complete loss of body hair. Okay, I like this. I mean, I don't like it. But here's another disorder. Alopecia is. Oh, I like this tilt better. Is androgenic alopecia. Slow decrease in hair density with a reduced hair diameter. 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 Ooh. See, it's not good when you're learning Spanish too. Yes, it's very good. It says, in men, it is generally located at the parietal front and progresses to a horseshoe-shaped outline at the crown of the head to the occipital area. And can you imagine telling somebody that? Don't that sound like you're really intelligent? It looks like you will decrease the reduced hair diameter. It is generally located and progresses to a horseshoe-shaped outline at the crown of the head to the occipital area. Right. But in women, it is generally located at the crown of the head and at the temples. Hey, I must have had that. Because remember, when I first came on, I said I had no hair here, no hair here. And that just described it. But the devil is a liar. Hallelujah. I said, Father, you said that hair is a woman's glory. And then I said, Father, may I have some glory? Alopecia. Ooh, that sounds like a nice name. Sudden or sometimes unrecognized falling out of hair in patches or spots. These areas are usually lighter in color due to poor blood supply and will usually grow back. Okay, maybe that's what I had. No. Okay, here's another alopecia. Diffuse alopecia. and sudden hair loss of the entire scalp, followed by thinning of the hair density, which affects both men and women, but primarily young females. This hair loss is temporary and the hair will grow back as long as the hair follicles remain active. Oh, I like that. It's like if I have any kind of alopecia, I want the diffuse alopecia. That's the one. So what I'm thinking is that the test will deal with alopecia. Oh, I heard of this one, the postpartum alopecia. It's one young lady that I look at on YouTube, and she's just gorgeous, and she wears a lot of head wraps. And what she does is, I mean, she be rocking those head wraps too. I mean, those head wraps are like, ooh, that is cute, and look at her makeup. I mean, she has locks under them, and she'll say, "Okay, I'm gonna take my wrap off now, so I can let's show you." And she'll have her hand up here. Let's show you my babies, you know. I mean, it's like every time she does that, it's like different. It's like, oh, I wonder how her hair looks today. But you look cute with the rock. Excuse me. You look cute. You're rocking that head wrap. Okay, so it says postpartum alopecia is temporary hair loss for 3 to 9 months after pregnancy due to sudden changes in hormone levels returning to normal within a year. It's almost like, boy, if I can pick my disease, oh, I want an alopecia like that, you know. Okay, here's another one. Traction alopecia. I heard of this one too. And remember, alopecia is under the disorders, not the diseases. So when you go over this, you want to remember to do disorders. You want to remember to do diseases. And then I'm noticing that it's comparing the areas of the hair. So it's going back over the different temporal, occipital, all the different parts of that scalp. You can't see me. I'm standing up talking like temporal, occipital, Anyway, I told y'all I'm learning with y'all. So come on, Loxers, let's do this. Okay, traction alopecia is a rapid, permanent scarring or balding on the scalp due to continuous pulling of the hair too tightly over a long period of time, resulting in the hair being literally pulled out of the follicle, taking out the hair root and bulb, and destroying the hair shaft. This hair loss is most apparent in the frontal or temporal regions and can also affect the nape area. Talking about, I'm almost sure that's as soon as I was saying it, it made me think of how, like one of the top hairstyles that I would like top meaning like 0, which is this hairstyle, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not top, But anyway, I was thinking of that because of the ponytail. I was thinking of a ponytail. That's a hair puller outer if I ever saw one. Anyway, okay, here's another one. Canatize. It's see, can it ties, and it's considered a disorder. Is the term for graying hair, which is a loss of general pigment or melanin in the hair. There are 3 forms of canities. I want to say that canitize. I want to say canitize. Okay, it might be canities, but I like canitize. Congenital, acquired, ringed hair. It makes it seem like if you do a certain thing. Disorder, canities. All right, canitize. I don't know. What do you want to say? Do you want canities or canitize? Okay, due to lack of melanin in the hair which exists at or before birth and will occur in albinos and occasionally in people with normal hair. But why would this be a disorder? I love my silver hair. Okay. Acquired Candidase. It must be Candidase. I'm going to call it Candidase. Due to the aging process during the telogen phase, the follicles and bulbs shrink, reducing the process of hair pigmentation and melanin. And I like this because remember it was talking about the melanin when it was doing those three types of hair. And then it said this lasts the 7 years or so much to 7 years, and this lasts to 1 day to 3 day, and this lasts to 2 to 3 weeks, like that. This may also occur prematurely as a result of genetics, prolonged anxiety, illness, or diet. And here I was. I'm going to tell you how much I like silver hair. I like silver hair so much that I prayed. And I knew my hair was going to grow back. So what I did was I asked Father, may I please have silver hair from heaven? And that's what I have. I have, anyway. That's a me and Jesus thing. Okay. Disorder canitise. Ringed hair, salt and pepper. A variety of canitise characterized by alternating bands of gray and pigmented hair throughout the length of the hair strand. Oh, I got a couple of that. I remember when I first shaved my hair. I didn't shave the whole thing, really. I mean, it had that much. But in the back, right here, I didn't know it was silver back there. Hold on. So I thought I was like, oh no, I got a bald spot. Until I looked real close and noticed that it was shorter than short, silver hair. Here's another disorder. It's called trichopilitis. Nope. Let's go. Trichoptilosis. Trichoptilosis. I think I'm going to call it trichoptilosis. It's like you going up to somebody and say, trichoptilosis. I mean, like, it sounds like something you can eat. Okay, trichoptilosis are split ends of the hair which start as small cracks in the cuticle that deepen into the cortex. Oh, I like that. Because, it was talking about the hair shaft, the cortex, the follicles. I was telling follicles, it reminds me of fingernails. Okay. Okay, Titorhexis nodosa. Okay, let's try it again. No, let's do Titorhexis. No, let's do T. No, T. Titorhexis nodosa. Titorhexis nodosa. Titorhexis. Okay, I can think of a teacher teaching a dinosaur. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Titorhexis nodosa is knotted hair, which is brush-like spreading out of the fibers of the broken off hair along the hair shaft. It is a dry, brittle condition. Whoa, that's way back there. That includes formation of nodular swelling along the hair shaft and breaks easily. I'm still looking at the word. I'm sorry. Titorhexis nodosa. Nodosa. Okay. Oh, we're getting the styles and techniques. Styles and techniques. So we learned about diseases, disorders. We started from the outer layers of the skin. But I like styles and techniques. One of the best styles that I've learned is called protective styles. That's why I like locks. One of the reasons I started my locks is because I wanted my hair to grow back, and I was praying for glory. I was praying for glory, and I started calling my hair glory because that's what the Bible calls it. And when I started calling my hair glory, I said, Father, you said that a woman's hair is her glory. And I don't want my glory. I want your glory. I want you to receive all the honor, the glory, and the praise. So I when I was thinking of glory, I was thinking of like me getting accolades. And I was like, I don't want accolades. So I figure in the natural, I'm going to cut this. So I just began to like, I went and got some, I don't know, probably $9.99 or $19.99 clippers from Walgreens. And I just started for about a year and a half, and it would grow back. And and I would hide in the bathroom. It's not like nobody really saw it because I was wearing it out, but up girl or lobsters. Let me tell you, and I kept saying that, and I noticed that when I cut my hair short, it looked like I had hair, but I really didn't care because I was cutting it off because I wanted Father's glory to shine forth. And so that's how I started with the styles and techniques. So here are some of them. So I'm not sure we're going to go over these. I'm kind of excited. I like the not talking about diseases and stuff like that. So it says natural, protective, or transitional styles and techniques used in natural hair. So we're getting to the part of sin or to the part of the module that says what we can do with hair. We know about hair. I'm calling it hair. We know about hair. We are going to do hair. And this is where you become good at what you do. You become good at what you do. It's almost like there's a pattern that I have when I crochet, and I call it a victory stitch because the stitch looks like V's. And then there's a space so my hands don't get tight. And I'll be able to crochet like this for years. As a matter sewing in the victory stitch to make the line straight, and it's amazing. The more I crochet, the more in years, the more I crochet and be continue and consistent with hats. I like hats. I love making hats because I design them according to the people. Um, and I like that. I like doing that. So when you get a style or a technique that you like, and I like the J hook. And the reason I like the J hook, one, because it looks like a J with a flame above it. I like how Father allowed me to create it, to come up with the idea that looks like a hook with the flame up. And they literally sell. I mean, some, it's amazing. I think my one of my customers gave me a $20 bill, and I was like, do you want two? It's like, no, this is for this one package. Uh, That's how I started selling my hats. You know, I was making them, and then I was charging 10, and then my pastor was like, $10. Okay, $10. You know, I was like, whatever. You know, because that's just like way not enough. I mean, just the thread sometimes, $7.99. But I was just starting out, and by the time I did one, I mean, at this time, or this one time, I had one dot. Uh, I called them. This is not good. They were prayer. Anyway, it had a hood and a thing that goes around your neck, like a scarf. Prayer mantles. Anyway, they were called prayer mantles. I sold them for $120. And people literally buy stuff. You just have to keep at it. I mean, I sold one $60. one hat. This is just a regular hat for $60. I sold $40. And they look like mushrooms. I mean, the hat itself looked like a real had a stem and it was like huge, and it looked ones that in not the olden days, but the ones in the artists used to wear. It looks like a tam, and in it looks like a mushroom. That's how I just start making hats. I look, I see patterns, and I start making them, and that's how it works for me. When I got to locks, and I went on Facebook, and this one person was saying how they just really literally downed so much active ways to lock your hair. I just was reading the Bible, and I said, Father, you are the creative God. It says right here that you created the heaven and the earth. And I was like, can you help me to create something? Because the people on Facebook, I'm not Facebook, the people on YouTube say, don't do this, don't do that. And they were saying all the stuff not to do, what to do, and all the things. It says, don't mess with your hair, just leave it alone. And I was like, but my hair is growing. And I bothered all the time. I said, can you help me to create something that I can use to lock my hair? And that's how come at the ends, I put knots at the ends of my hair so that I can show people how to start the knots with long hair. And I showed you some of my, it's like one lock is up here, and then I stretch it, it comes down the hair. I'm like, wow, your hair's long. So it talks about all the different types of sponge types hair, the curly, all the straight, but my hair process is going through a lot of this book. And now we're to the part that says natural, protective, or transitional styles and techniques. Sure you can see this. And techniques used in natural hair care. So, and that's where the most fun part of your um, tutoring should be, in the styles themselves. I told you that when I looked online, it was like $130 a month more. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean to make that face. But so let's get started with the styles and techniques. It says some styles, take many hours to complete. More complex styles are not disposable to be casually brushed out, and with proper care can last up to 3 months. But of course, the styling that I like and the upkeep is with, I love to lock. I love my locks. It says some styles create a small amount of tension on the hair, and if properly started, there should be no pain, discomfort, or irritation to the scalp. And so now comes my hairstyle. So so let me take this off. Woohoo! Okay. Now, see about the silver? This is what I was telling you. The bouncing back. See, a lot of this video of the tutorial is regarding the module. So now that we're to the natural hairstyle, this right here, last year, let me see how to hold it. Okay. The way that I just took my fingers, pulled it through. And this right here will be considered at this moment a protective style. But instead of starting it here, this is this part right here. So at the end, we are going to get to see these become locks. Sometimes I allow, and it does this, and usually the upkeep is basically this. And if you can see how it's thick here, I mean, you can see it. Show you. Try to get some light on it. See, from here to here, that's new growth. What I did was I stopped when I first started these locks. These were very, very thin. So I know I've never started my locks with, or I don't know anybody that started their locks with knots at the ends. I haven't met anybody yet. So I'm looking, don't worry. And then those who want locks, and then this is basically how I keep them separated. I take them, pull them out, go up and down. And if I'm oiling them, I just go like here, part them, put the oil here, and I take my time. When I'm in the shower, and all the time. But see how long they are? And so, as a natural hair care practitioner, this is the style that I'm going to introduce to my clients. And that's what I'm saying. See how this is the battery is low. Oh no. Let me see, we're going to wait till it die. Yeah, because I think I'll end it here. Yeah. I'm going to end it on this part of how I keep my hair up. This is clean hair. You can tell that this is new. This right here is new. On the top. These hairs on the top here are new. And when I had it locked before, when the hair would grow in, I would just slowly add it. I started out with a knot here, and then I didn't like that. It was coming out anyway. It was a half knot, really, because I really kind of wanted it like this, but I didn't think it would work because it's the first time. See my silver coming back? Woohoo! And this is how I keep them up, just like this. During the day, because they're usually wet, I wait till I get next door. Let me show you back. And I'm going in like this because I want to make that they don't tangle, that they don't marry, is what it's called, I believe. But I like how I like how they are. Sometimes I wear it exactly like this. I'll go outside with my hair, all of them all stretched out, and they're starting to fall like this. Before they just would stick up. But I noticed that I don't have to worry about anything pulling and holding because this is new. This is a new pattern. And I dyed it in May last May. I try to dye my hair once a year to show how far along it's come. But this is what I'm trying to explain. When you start your business, you become the business. You become what you're teaching others. You know, you become the natural person. There's no fluff. There's no frill. There's no anything. You want to become who your business is. Like I had a website called mzjanis.com, and I would sell product. I would sell all different kinds of stuff on it. because I always wanted my own store. And so it was like a retail store. And what ended up happening is, hold on, I just remembered. Okay, it might get dark, but I forgot I'm live, and so I need to make sure that when this goes off, hey, that it's going to be okay. Because I don't want to lose all. I want to get better at it. But there's my chair. I thought there was a long. I got, oh, that's big. I think there was a pot belly, one of those pot belly stoves. Look how thick this one is getting. Look, hold on. Anyway, this is for right now. And I just really want my hair to basically grow from here. So I was telling this one right here. I get to show y'all how I see. Look, I get to show y'all again how I. This one right here is just the finger's hard to get through, and I hear the hair is popping. So you go this way, and you open it up as far as it can go. See how it's knotted right there? That closes the knot. So if you have long hair, this is how you start. But if you want to start a hair, and I told y'all about my knock. Hold on. And here's a lot of my different color. See, I wear my product. And so you want to, and I had, like the other day, I had on an orange and black outfit. I usually like to wear this when I wear a certain dress. When I cook, it's in here somewhere. I have a pair of pants, chef's pants. Well, I like to wear leggings, so I have a pair of chef leggings that has that design on it, but a smaller print. I like to wear this one when I wear all black, which I do often because I'm a minister of the gospel. This is how they normally look. As a hole at the end. And what I usually do, uh-oh, it says I'm going off again. I better end before I get messed, before I mess up. Because this is my first one, so let's, oh, yeah. Let's find out how you turn it off. Uh-oh. Gotta be going, you guys. But I can't figure out how to turn it off. Help. That's my alarm telling me it's time to go.